This week on Blazer Tags, Blazers crushing the road games. We talk about past guests, beer bets, and what's the deal with Harkless?
What's the deal with that?
What's the deal?
Yeah, what they said.
And you're an open beer. All right, gentlemen. Well, welcome to episode 10. We finally made it to double digits officially.
Indeed.
So cue the clapping sound that you're going to be hearing right about now, and the cheering and the yeah. Because we can't do it ourselves, and we have no crowd in front of us except for a camera.
There is a baby 5 feet behind us,
True.
sleeping opposite side of the wall.
We really should have brought the strippers back with us from Rock Bottom.
So sound effects are going to be key here. But yes, no strippers this time. We don't have Rop in the studio, and Studio B.
No Bjarnson. Yeah, we're actually back in the home base.
Yep, the three of us.
Even if we're aiming for a shorter episode, just trying to catch up and at least get it done. I mean, we're starting a half an hour later than usual, hour later.
Probably
hour.
a good hour and a half, 2 hours, 4 hours.
It's
a day and a half.
It's 2 a.m. on Tuesday. Wednesday.
Yeah.
So all of our faithful fans, officially we hit a milestone. There are 250 of you. That is a quarter of 1,000.
That is 1/4 of 1,000.
That is also about 240 more than we thought we'd get at this point in time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thank all of you.
Yeah.
Specifically, thank you, Aaron Rasmussen, who continuously texts me now during every game. And I'm pretty sure it's mostly because you're having to hear my voice right now. You opted in. Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Yes. Good for opting in.
Yeah.
So, you know what, though? Let's go ahead and start this off right. So, there have been some beer bets that we have not been able to cash in on, and I will let Whitledge over here kick it off because I believe he's earned the first one from yours
So
truly.
if we want to go back 2 shows ago, I wasn't gonna let these suckers pay off a bet with free beer from last week, and so our first one was which player has the largest point swing from the back-to-back Kings game. They did that weird home-and-home thing. And Brandon picked McCollum, who ended up having a 6-point swing. Green, you picked Lillard, who had a 7-point swing.
It was close.
And, you broke it.
I didn't break it. You can't. No one can hear you.
I can hear me. No. Anyways, and I pick Randolph, who ended up having a 17-point swing. So that is my win. So
I owe the Whitledge his. You guessed it. Your half.
yeah. I'll eventually find another beer. It'll
Actually,
happen.
I call bullshit.
I didn't think about requesting my beer.
I'm still on the lookout for the Blazer
week.
beer for you. I stopped at a different gas station this week, and they also don't have it.
That's right. There's another one that's become my favorite beer right now, but they only sell it in a 4-pack. So I would say you're getting off easy, but the 4-pack of it I think costs $5 more than most 6-packs.
Hey, on the flip side, apparently 10 Barrel is more expensive than the other random beer I buy, and so you're getting the highbrow stuff.
Oh man!
Ooh.
So and then that brings us to last week's beer bet, and that was
I barely missed out on.
Hey, I just went conservative, and the lesson really should be go conservative because it worked out for me. It was total points scored between Lillard, McCollum, Embiid, and Simmons, I believe, in that 76ers game, which was the most painful game of the week.
Yes, it was. In Green, so you took 80 points, and you took 80 points, and it was 79. So it was 79, so you were off by 1. Brandon, you had 95 points, so off by 16.
That was way off.
You know, me, I thought it'd be way fucking higher, and I took 102 and lost my freaking pants in that, off by 23. Rob and Adam, they did hop in on the celebrity bet, but neither of them came close, so they were off by 11 and 20. So, Green?
We were kind of hoping secretly to give either one of those guys beer.
Yeah. But
I would have rather they bought me a beer. Hey!
That's been great. Yeah, so there's beer to my left and beers to my right. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of, we'll see what happens. I might get a beer inherited to me. Who knows? We'll see.
Hey,
maybe.
I share.
Oh, good tidings.
Hey, here you go.
Hey.
And actually, I didn't pack a bottle opener this week.
I didn't.
So
beg.
Whitledge is our human bottle opener.
Am I the beer wench today?
Yeah.
I have a belly button I could probably use.
Listen, your abs aren't that good
just
yet.
rotate this over.
Actually, it's better to do it when I have the gut still.
Well, more of a lever, yeah.
I have a bigger hole.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Is
And
that
here
what
we
she
are.
wants, though? Is that really what she wants?
So, gentlemen, what are we going to talk about here this week? I mean, we had 4 out of 5 wins on the road, which, mind you, I felt like that was very plausible considering the 5 teams we were playing. But
We were,
to actually see it happen,
and we were all pretty close.
feeling good.
I think we had said that it was that 76ers game was the one that was going to make us the most nervous, and that was their loss. So
I was actually.
I still don't trust the process. I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, yeah, okay, several years of compounding early draft picks, but still. Really?
Yeah.
The 76ers? Perennial garbage?
it's a little awkward.
But you know what, though, for this week, though, like I was like praying for a 500, and to have 80% this far on the road, like, well, that is the road trip, 80%. Mm-hmm. That's pretty fucking awesome, and it's too much to cheers for. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do it. Let's go ahead and cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
4 out of 5, and and we can obviously talk about games, which we will.
Brings our total road game record up to 6-4.
But you know what else I kind of
Yeah.
want to talk about and touch base on?
Whoa.
How fucking awesome were these past few shows with Rob and Bjornsson? Yeah?
They were all right. They were pretty good.
Yeah?
You know.
Okay.
Hey,
That's it?
hey, Rob,
All right.
I know you're still listening. You listen to every episode
To
now.
that one show, Blazer Tag,
Tag, yeah.
all one word, no pause.
Anyway,
The show that Rock Bottom clearly loves more. So, I mean,
by the way, one more time, thank you, Rock Bottom.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
yeah, we
so
we
much
may or
love
may
to
not
you.
have racked up an incredibly high tab at Rock Bottom, and they graciously covered it. And
I mean,
huge,
we
huge
all
shout
forgot
out.
our wallets, so it was really nice of
Also,
them.
did we tip Chase?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
No,
just wanted to make sure
that
Chase
said-
was taken care of.
That said, I felt bad that I didn't tip him more, but
Rob tipped
I
him as
threw I threw down a few good bucks, several of them,
Yeah.
a high
tipped him
percentage
in
of
high
my
fives,
no bill.
And I still get nude selfies from him. So, I mean, either way, I feel like I win in the end.
Still getting those 3 a.m. texts from him now that he's got your number
Yes,
from having the.
Yes, and he's now on my Snapchat. So, yeah, so we have that.
So yeah,
So thanks, Chase.
and we decided that you guys wanted to get back to just listening to only us, so we didn't invite anybody. There's been a strong push. We're getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. Everybody wants to come hang with us, but
Yeah.
Oh,
we
That's
wanted
right.
we
Yes.
wanted to go back to our
Constantly.
humble beginnings. So
Now,
so
that
here
said,
we are.
That's do we announce our next guest, or are we going
You're-
to hold off till we're closer to that?
You're the one who's been pushing it. So I mean, how set in stone is it? How comfortable are you in announcing
I
it?
mean, he said he's good to go, and he booked his day and his time.
all right then.
Let's throw it out there because it's a future date.
Yeah,
let's start
it's a,
wrapping into
we
it.
we won't say which day in January, but in January we will have the legendary Sports Illustrated's own Ben Golliver.
Whoa. So I mean, I feel
My
like
sports pants are tight.
I feel like we're like we started off with this show and having
We had Deckard.
Dave Deckard. God, so many.
Isn't it sad when you
too many
forget that we
amazing
talked to
guests
Deckard?
on the show?
How
We
do
had
you-
Deckard. How do we top this? We got Bjornsson. Oh, how do we top this? Oh, we got Rob. How do we top this? You know what? At this point, Wheels. We'd love to have you on.
Wheels take the wheel. For one.
Or if somehow
Man.
anybody knows Mike Barrett's contact info, I'd love to hear that man's stories.
Oh, actually, you know what?
I follow him on
Fuck,
Twitter.
fuck that Mike Rice.
Oh yeah, drunk uncle.
If
Drunk
I
uncle.
would love to share some beers with Mike Rice. I feel like that would be probably the highlight of this year. Because no matter how good any of the other guys are, Mike Rice, he's seen some things and he says some things.
And we're assuming that the things he said before has been when he's sober. So for the love of Pete when he gets some drinks in him.
So, all right. So, anybody out there listening, if you happen to know any of those guys and want to give them our email, blazertagpodcast@gmail.com. Actually, no, it's
Actually, it's
podcast@blazertagpodcast.com.
Yeah, it'll be down here. You'll see it.
Eventually, we'll figure out what our
Yeah, what our
contact
email is.
information is.
By the way, open invite. If you're listening and you got a question or you want to insult our opinions, again, podcast@blazertagpodcast.com.
Or Twitter. BlazerTag Podcast on Twitter.
or Facebook.
yeah.
Or if you want to insult any of us, we're all on Twitter individually.
Do we have an Instagram yet?
No.
We do, but it's not active.
Haven't taken enough food pictures yet.
No.
The Blazer Tag pregame meal.
See, I've been rocking my other channel. I have been whoring out my other interests. I have a Rubik's Cube channel.
What?
Yes, I'm a nerd.
You do things
wow.
other than this.
So I
Who has other hobbies?
yeah. I am the sports / nerd guy who has a very very thriving active Rubik's Cube channel. So feel free to comment on how nerdy I am, and I might even drop a link. Just
Everybody's a nerd these days.
I was gonna say you're talking to me and Ryan. We're all closet nerds. I love me some Dragon Ball Z. Ryan, I know you got a couple little closet weird nerd fetishes.
I've got all of them. I've got my comic book things that are all sitting over here. My guitar obsession.
Hearthstone.
Oh yeah, I play a lot of Hearthstone. You can find me on Twitch TV. I'm somewhere in there. Yeah, I've got a Twitch.
Wow.
Have you been live?
I have live streamed a total of probably 6 hours. Mind you, it's been about a month. So, if you ever find me on there, I'm very seldom on. It's usually one person, maybe two watching me. So I'm very, very active audience.
Weird.
He seldom wears a shirt.
No, I often wear a shirt. I do plan on at some point playing. There's a specific genre of decks called pirate decks. I've got a pirate costume. I think I'm gonna bust out my pirate costume, play some pirate warrior, and just enjoy my Hearthstone time. Just really get into it. Maybe I'll do something else interesting.
And for this show, we might just not wear pants one episode.
He's still pushing it.
Yeah,
He
I'm
doesn't
really
want to
pushing
wear
it.
pants.
Yeah, it'll happen. So,
And I'm only when I'm sitting farther away from you than I currently am now.
So let's kind of go back into the this amazing 4 out of 5 games this week.
Yeah.
So started off with the Grizzlies. That was a nice little win.
Let's just jump all around. First of all, I think we can all agree the 76ers game was an embarrassment. So
I don't
I'm
even know
it.
what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching the game and it just was like constant collapse after just passes to no one.
Well, they missed their first 13 shots, scored the fewest points of the season, and
For
shot
17 shots, actually.
Missing
Oh, yeah.
open shots and contested shots.
no,
It's one
sorry,
thing
that
if
was 17 to 0.
there's a hand in your
Yeah,
face.
it was 17-0. They missed their first 13 shots. That's the fewest points that they ever scored in the season, and lowest field goal percentage at like 33%, which they were lucky to make it to 33%. I think one point in time I'm watching the game and they were shooting after the obviously 0%, but like they were averaging a stretch of shooting about like 15%. And I'm just like, and I think that was a game I decided to watch sober. And it always seems that when some of us decide to watch games sober, that it just ends horribly.
That's how it was for the Clippers game when we watched that.
Yeah.
I didn't drink beer and I was regretting it. But as far as that 76ers game, there was at no point in that game where I felt like we had any hope.
No.
There was never a time where I'm like, we could possibly make it. There was no hope. It was just strict depression.
By about halftime, I busted out my phone and was playing Hearthstone.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm only gonna half watch this. This just is not worth my time and just emotional energy.
Yeah, fourth quarter was basically me just kind of checking in on my ESPN app. I just didn't really care at that point.
It's one of those things where I hate when games like that happen when you're on a delay for like DVR.
Yeah.
Like say you start watching an hour behind and you just know that it's not going to get any better. So suddenly you just find yourself, okay, instead of the 10-second skip, I'm going to start skipping 10 minutes at a time. Nope, still horrible. Nope, still horrible. Ah, crap.
And live.
crap, I'm live and I've only watched 5 minutes of this.
Man. There's only been one time where that's betrayed me. And that was the playoffs a few years ago against the Mavericks where Brandon Roy had that
the 23-point comeback.
Yeah. In the middle of the third quarter, mind you, it was on the old school DVR where you're actually watching things click by. So I'm watching and I'm just going, okay, it still sucks. Oh, hey, well, we're within 20. Oh, hey, well, we're within 15. Oh, okay, I guess I'll start watching. It's 12 and we're, on a positive trend. I'll watch a few minutes of this, assuming we were still going to lose, but at least it wasn't painful anymore. Only to, have my wife walk back in the room after having left frustrated, catching me in tears. I love you, Brandon Roy. Never leave. Never let your knees go bad. Never have career-ending injuries.
Glad to know he listened to you.
Something to that effect is what I was saying.
And actually, on a funny note about Brandon Roy, I've been to his house, so I've never been in it, but I used to work for Schwann's. I delivered food, and his house was in my route, and his neighbors were Schwann's customers, and they're like, hey, fun fact, Brandon Roy lives next door. You should go by and see if they want any food. I knocked on, and No answer.
Did we ever
Good
figure
story.
out? Did we ever figure out if it was the Brandon Roy that got shot from that couple months back?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I thought I heard no.
That's what I remember too. That it was just
like,
some
it
other
was-
guy.
I thought it was Brian Grant for some reason, but maybe it was
No, it was
Brandon Roy?
the guy's name was Brandon Roy.
Oh,
but was it actually the Brandon Roy?
Which the funny thing about that is, like, Brandon Roy's media silence. He didn't come out and talk to anybody. And I'm like, if somebody said that I got shot, I might, like, if I didn't get shot, make a statement.
Or even if I did, hey guys, I'm fine.
Send cake.
You know, yeah.
Isn't he a coach though? Like
He's a high school coach now.
And he's kicking butt as a high school coach too. Last I heard,
They just won his team. I can't remember what his team's name is, but they just won the championship, state championship.
The B-Roys.
So, hey, Terry Stotts, you need an assistant coach. The entire city of Portland would weep tears of joy if you brought him on.
Could you imagine?
Oh
Could you
man,
even fathom?
Wait, so then we'd have Terry Stotts as head coach, we'd have Steve Blake as an assistant coach, and Brandon Roy as an assistant coach.
oh man.
I mean, can we get Andre Miller over for assistant coaching
oh,
too?
that
and
would
just,
be wonderful. And actually, you know what though? Let's bring back Terry Porter for a year as an assistant. I know he's got another job, but he's already an ambassador.
what's
He's around a
Sabonis
bunch.
doing? He can be a big man coach, can he?
Oh man,
He's too busy
could you
cheering on
imagine?
his son?
Could you imagine Sabonis coaching Nurkic? Because I mean, there's enough of an overlap there in skill sets. I mean,
Keep
it's
him
not
away
the
from
same.
the vodka.
I love the vodka.
But man, dreams. All right, so what other games are we going to talk about? The Memphis game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. I was glad we pulled it out.
I was glad Roy didn't, or not.
Roy.
We're talking about Roy.
Whoops.
Anyways, I'm glad Dame, didn't actually screw up his ankle when he turned it in the second quarter. But did everybody else have a heart attack?
Luckily, I tuned in late and I'd already had the messages of, oh, Roy's ankle, it could be awful, followed by, oh, nope, he's fine. He's back out playing.
Well, we all tuned in late, and Bjarnson was the one who broke that news to us while we're recording.
That's right.
Yeah. And
So-
Vonleh was a beast, 18 boards that game. Apparently, he just wanted to eat all the basketballs.
Vonleh, gotta say, looking pretty beastly. Other than two really crappy plays last night. Two really crappy, just no-show defensive plays during that collapse in the fourth quarter to the Knicks that luckily, I mean, it was a collapse, but the cornerstones remained.
Yeah.
We hung on.
Well, I
We
remember...
were actually sweating it.
Yeah, and I remember the three of us sitting there because we went down to Spirit of 77 for my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and so we're watching the game on the screen, and we're like, oh, so this is how it felt to be the Wizards. Just thinking that the gods were going
Baby,
to...
that's cold.
Yeah, we're going to rain down upon us and be like, ha ha ha, you enjoyed it so much, here's how it felt.
I gotta say that Wizards game, not to bounce around too much,
No,
but
that's the whole point here. We're
but
bouncing
let's do
around.
We're just
just.
spitballing.
So I had some friends over who do not care about basketball. In fact, I've had good games on TV and forced them to sit through the back half of them in the past, and they've generally rolled their eyes. I kept the game on just so I could keep apprised, but I figured I wouldn't be able to pay much attention because they're not basketball people. The last 3 minutes of the game, I'm kind of explaining the pattern of the game to the guy. By the end of the game, he was like applauding, standing in my room, just like, that was the greatest basketball game I have ever seen in my life.
That was, yeah. I mean, probably games that I could remember watching. There were a few games that definitely were like that, but certainly in a long time, that was one of the greatest comebacks I've seen.
It was a hell
in a
of a
long
rally.
time.
It was definitely the comeback of the year.
18-4 run to close out the game. Dig out of a 17-point fourth quarter deficit.
Incredible.
Which for me, so I went down to the Civil War game on Saturday. So I did not actually watch this game, but I was getting the texts from them about I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Which, if anybody is a Ducks or Beavers fan, you know how that Civil War game went. We checked out at halftime basically, but so
and
I
he's
actually,
a Duck fan.
Yeah.
I know. I would have rubbed it in.
Yeah. No, well,
Sure.
I actually enjoyed myself better that because the Apple Cup was going on at the same time. So I started texting my best friend who's a Coug fan, and because they got their ass handed to them. But anyway, so it took me a good solid 2 other days to watch this Wizards game. I think I finally watched it, yesterday morning?
Yeah, I think you were
guys?
texting us at like 10 in the morning yesterday.
Yeah. Took the day off for the birthday, but knowing that the comeback was coming, I'm just like, all right, so they're down 13. Okay, no, they're down 11. Okay, so when does the hole start getting dug?
Yeah.
And holy cow, they undug.
They did it. They did it.
So well done, boys. I would like to not be anxious in the last 5 minutes of a game once this week. Just give me that. Just give me one.
You got one. It was yesterday.
Kinda.
It's the closest you're gonna get.
Yeah, but they crawl back though, and it's like we only won by 10 points?
I think it was 12.
And it felt like we were gonna be closer than that. So it was still nerve wracking up until the last minute and a half.
Well,
we're talking about 5 minutes of there's just no chance in hell they're gonna win this game.
Thanks, Beasley. Anyway,
So this last 3-game wins. That's the first 3-game win streak the Blazers have had all. He's right. That noise does sound good. But first 3-game win streak they've had all season, and everybody knows who gets the credit for that, right?
yeah,
It's Mr.
CJ McCollum.
Oh no. The new
Damian Lillard.
the new white saver.
Mr. Nurkic. Yeah, Yusuf Nurkic.
No, Mr. Patty Fastfingers.
Oh.
After Harkless made his complaint.
Beginning of the season, Patty was number 12 for me. So
Yeah, Harkless made his complaints about being frustrated with his playing time, and Stotts said, "All right, then get your ass on the bench, and I'm going to put in Connaughton."
This was it was a strategic decision. It had nothing to do with Harkless publicly complaining.
That was the most complaining I have seen a player do to a reporter in a long time.
I actually think that we're going to see Patty start.
I don't
Well,
know.
he's doing
Look
a
at the
great
stats.
job of it.
Look at the stats.
I know.
Harkless'
Chief is
stats
due to
are-
come back soon.
That's true. That's
Once Chief is back, now we'll probably see more out of Patty. He just keeps earning it. That's the thing. I mean, he's still not really consistent, but he is out there giving 110% every time.
Well, yeah, like last night, 17 points, 7 of 9 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep. Now, the one thing that I could see, if he has some really good defensive stretches, I think he ended up having 2 blocks and 3 steals or something like that in the Wizards game.
I mean, he's no Myers Leonard, but it's pretty good.
But so if he can keep his defense up, do you think that Chief gets dropped down to a bench role?
No.
God, no. I honestly think Chief will jump to the 4. I think that's where Stotts is kind of hoping to play with him in. And I think we move Connaughton into the 3.
So you're talking about dropping Vonleh out?
Yeah,
of the
so
lineup.
drop Vonleh out, and you got
I
Dame,
really
CJ,
don't
Patty.
see that happening.
CJ, Dame, Patty,
Chief,
and Nurk.
That's an interesting lineup,
That's
but I
a
don't see
really
it.
fun small ball lineup, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see it happening. You're not going to go that small all the time. Now, I see that happening for a lot of playing time, but not as a start. I would equate it to the three-guard lineup.
I'm yawning over here. I got a beer in me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning now, so...
Hey, I actually have a little bit of news that I read, and it's speculation. But you guys hear about the Gasol offer?
No.
So allegedly, the Blazers made an offer on Gasol, along with the Cavs, the Raptors, the Celtics.
We're talking about the
and
good Gasol, not the old
Marc
Gasol, right? Okay.
Marc Gasol. Yeah, from the Grizzlies.
Huh.
So
Well, I mean, they're a dumpster fire right now. Is that offer still on the table?
there is an active offer, allegedly or reportedly, from the Blazers for Marc Gasol. Thoughts?
That is dumb, because did anybody see how Nurk played with another strong starting center in Denver before he became his malcontent? If you want to keep Nurk, you do not bring somebody like that here.
Unless you try to
Is Gasol
do...
center, or does he play the power forward?
I mean, if you're trying to do Twin Towers, have him play the 4. But then again, they tried to do that
in Denver, and
in
it didn't
Denver,
work.
and that really didn't work. So, of course, Gasol actually has the ability to play stretch 4. He's a better shooter than Nurk. So theoretically, if you keep Nurk on the inside and you run Gasol inside out, you can do some things that would screw with some people. But that said, yeah, you're gonna create some nightmare potential for player usage.
If
I
they
think
pulled
that
off that trade, I think that's a signal that the organization would send that they're not hanging their hat on Nurk and that he'd be gone at the end of the year.
I disagree. I think they don't hang their hat on either Harkless or Vonleh.
Well,
I mean, if you
Harkless has got 2 more years left on his contract, right?
but it's a relatively small
I think
contract.
you can trade that. I think I
Harkless is actually tradable, except that he's not playing great. Yeah. See, really, if you wanted to try and trade Harkless, you got to give him a few minutes, make him look good, and then find a suitor. But either way, right now, he's low enough that, I mean, if we were trading him for a draft pick, that's doable.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Grizzlies are a dumpster fire right now. They just fired their head coach.
And they're rebuilding, clearly.
Yeah, because they lost 8 games. Sadly, the Blazers were their only win in their last 10, I believe. But yeah. On the plus side, they Blake Griffin is broke, so that happened. He had Austin Rivers fall on his leg and strain his MCL, ACL, one of those CLs.
That's the curse of the Clippers, guys.
Oh, man, no. Nepotism never hurt anyone.
Poor Clippers.
Yeah.
Not poor Clippers. Fuck the Clippers. Blazers, speaking of Blazers, I was talking to Rob this
You mean the entirety of our show?
There you go.
Hey, speaking of our subject
we're
matter.
back. So I was actually texting Rob a little bit, and he was...
Name drop.
Yeah, name drop, no big deal.
We
And,
exchanged numbers. We're besties now.
And we were talking about the season, and I was talking, hey, what do you think about that comeback game against the Wizards? And he's like, said the Blazers have 5 seed written all over them. And I honestly, I don't disagree, and I also kind of be happy with that. I don't feel like 5 is really any different than 4 except for home court, and I feel like that would be better than 8th seed. The playing against Golden State Warriors or whoever the fuck's up there.
I'm pretty sure it's going to end the season
that'd be
with it
round
being
2.
Houston up there.
We'll see.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Even with Chris Paul coming back.
Well, they've
And
been
weighing
kicking
them
ass
down.
since Chris Paul came back.
Yeah,
They're gonna start
give it
losing
time.
Games. They've been kicking ass without Chris Paul. Chris Paul is going to totally screw things up for them,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Well,
just
We had this
depends on how the
conversation about
chemistry handles.
I like Beverly over Chris Paul, personally, right now.
isn't Beverly out injured for 3 months? I know he's not on that team anymore, but everyone's getting broke lately. Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are both sitting out their next game.
Well,
From
that's
their
just because
injuries.
they wanted an overnighter.
Isn't the NBA fining people for doing that now on the away games for sitting all your stars?
I think there's non-fining punishment something or another because you're trying to market the team on these national TV games. So and also in other markets they're trying to sell tickets and kind of screws the fans over. Hey, I'm excited to go see LeBron James. Oh, it's a game he's sitting because he's tired. Well, I'm glad I spent $200 on this ticket where I could have gotten the same seat for $30 against the Suns.
Yeah.
And honestly, I remember coming to the first Cavs game when LeBron. I had my tickets up front court, and LeBron was here. Humble brag, not anymore. It was like LeBron's first game as a Cavs, and I was so shocked at how many LeBron fans there were with the Cavs. I mean, everybody in that goddamn stadium had a fucking LeBron jersey.
It's just like when the Warriors come to town now, everybody's got a Curry jersey.
I actually was at a gas station and I saw a guy wearing a Warriors hat the other day, and I started making fun of him. And then he was like, yeah, well, we're just driving up from San Francisco to see my kids in Seattle. And then I looked at the plates, and he actually had California plates. And it just turns out I'm an asshole. So,
But honestly, though, it's such a rare breed. Because, honestly, most San Francisco fans were Lakers fans. No one was a Golden State fan, even here locally.
hey, man, Chris Mullen was great.
Yeah. I run into so many guys that are like, oh man, I've been a Golden State fan forever.
I just didn't talk about it for the first 18 years of my life.
I was just being reclusive, hidden away. I'm a fucking Blazer fan. When the Blazers are not doing great and we have a shitty week where we lose 3 to the 4 games, you're still a fan. You're not.
I'm drinking my sorrows away.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you
just
drink more beers.
Yeah, you just become slightly more alcoholic during those
Yes.
weeks.
Like a true fan. You drink your pain away. You don't ignore it. So, I mean,
I'm sure most psychiatrists would say that drinking your pain away would be ignoring it, but
Well, and let's not
to
lie.
each their own.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the three of us. Let's just be honest. We either drink to celebrate or drink to mourn. Really, we're not changing our alcohol consumption that much.
we're just changing our justification for it.
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And honestly,
Oh, man.
Blazers, you've done very good to us, and we're very thankful for that. And to that, we honor you with this podcast. It's
Hear,
a podcast
hear.
for the fans, by the fans. Kind of a good soundbite.
So on that note, I do have a question for you guys. So, after that Philly game where Lillard was getting mauled in the lane and he came out and surprisingly didn't get fined for criticizing the refs, I did a little digging. And apparently he's...
He did.
Yeah, no. And so, he came out and he's like, yeah, go ahead and fine me. I've got the check sitting here ready to go after he complained that the refs weren't giving him any calls. And so I was like, okay. And I look into it, and I was like, never mind. You shoot the second most free throws in the league. I think he's even shooting more than Harden. And Harden is a hawk for those.
Yeah,
Who
but
shoots more than Harden? Well, apparently Lillard.
Well, Lillard.
Who
Antetokounmpo, I believe, is number 1 in the league in foul shots.
doesn't really surprise me. He was getting some pretty generous calls last time we played. But what I would say to any of that is Dame's game kind of lends itself to him being fouled. Does he get a couple charitable calls? Yeah. I mean, I usually catch one a game, but he also, for every one charitable call, I notice there's 2 or 3 times where I'm watching, I go, he could have got a call there, because his game is literally attack the basket and weave through 2 guys to do it, or shoot a distance 3. Yeah. Like, those are the 2 things he does.
The flailing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my foul at?
Well, and at the same point, like, I mean, he's 6th in the league in scoring still, which is amazing because if you go back and look at his shooting numbers, he's not having the world's best season for shooting.
No.
Almost 30% of his points are coming at the free throw line.
Yeah.
He's a freaking free throw machine.
Yeah.
Which technically is nice, seeing as that he's also played the most minutes out of anybody in the league, but...
Well, that's Dame. He'll carry a team to 5th place, 1st place, or, 30th place.
But we're a quarter of the way through the season at this point. How are we, like?
Don't ask us to hand out quarter season grades. I will backhand you.
No,
those
I'm
articles
saying,
drive me insane.
No. Not a grade. I'm just talking about do we agree with Rob? Do we think that the Blazers are going to land fifth spot?
Let's see.
I don't know. It's kind of hard.
Maybe.
And where does that put us win wise?
Well, win-wise, I mean, 5th place, that's usually about 45 to 47. Somewhere in there.
51.
50 is going to be first.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No,
usually
it's not.
52 is first.
No,
Very
it's not.
seldom
Not
does
the
anybody
West.
hit.
Not the West.
No, not with Golden State and Houston.
Well, there's
West.
other teams in the West that have to lose to those teams.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I would say the top 2 spots are going to be up low to mid 60s.
I don't think you're going to see
I-
2 teams pull off 60-win seasons. You can't,
No.
I don't think you can reasonably do that in a conference. You cannibalize yourself.
Yeah.
So unless Dallas is capped out at their 5 wins that they have right now, and everyone else is just going to beat the crap out of them.
No, not at all. I think Houston and Golden State could both pull off at least 60.
Mathematicians of the internet, go ahead and tell us what the possibility of that is. But I don't think we have more than 2 teams hitting 60 in the entire league.
No, I
in
think
the
we have-
West, maybe one.
I think we have 2 teams
maybe.
in the West that hit 60.
No, there'll be a couple in the upper 50s.
If you tell me there's 2 teams in the East also, I'm taking away your beer because you've had too much.
Well, I mean, we all know that Boston's going to crush the East.
This is true.
I honestly, I would love to see. I would love to see Boston and Houston in the finals. I'm just tired of this fucking
Golden State, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch James Harden that late into
I don't
frickin' June.
Dude, I don't. care.
I agree. James Harden is just hard basketball to watch.
Yeah.
It is
No,
not
but,
fun.
But do you want to see Golden State go to the finals again? No.
I wouldn't
Well,
mind it.
Well, there's
No,
there's
fuck
really
that
one
shit.
team I want to see go to the finals, and after that, I'll settle on whoever's there. I want to watch the best basketball possible. Houston is fine. Golden State is actually really watchable basketball. That's part of why they get so much of a bandwagon. Besides their dominance and they're a fun style of play. They play in an interesting way, which is actually part of why I love the Terry Stotts Blazers. Since he's been around, he's introduced strategies that are entertaining to the eye, fun to drink to, and make arbitrary predictions and hang false hopes on.
And as we can also understand him. I mean, there was a couple times in the Wizards game where I'm like, oh, look, they're doing their 3-man weave. And I played basketball when I was younger. I know what a 3-man weave is. I was happy.
Weaving.
Not basket weaving, 3-man weaving. Shut up.
Underwater basket weaving? No, wait, that was...
High in college.
Yeah.
That was my major.
Of course it was.
All right, boys, what else is on the agenda today? I think we've talked these games and...
Yeah, I think the
NBA
games
to
are
death.
covered. I think we got Harkless covered. I think we got beer bets covered in the road games.
Well, and then so after the games, we got power rankings. Blazers broke through the top 10.
Yes.
What?
Jumped from number 11 to number 8 this week.
Whoa,
and by the
whoa.
way, guys, because I've been
Respect.
asked this by a couple people, we abide solely by ESPN's power rankings.
Yes.
Not this CBS Sports, not Kansas City Journal power rankings or anything like that. It's ESPN. That's where we get our rankings and standings and stats from.
Here at the BlazerTag Podcast Power Rankings, the Blazers remain at number 1 for the 10th consecutive week.
Yep.
And everybody else is tied for 30th.
And everybody else can fuck themselves.
Yeah. All right, there we are. And so looking good on that. I mean, how could they keep us out of the top 10? Being ranked where we are and hitting 4 out of 5 on the road, and the only loss coming to a still befuddlingly respectable Philadelphia 76ers. Without Wilt Chamberlain. I don't even get it.
Which it still baffles me.
Befuddling?
It baffles me to look at the power rankings and directly below the Blazers at number 9 are the 76ers.
Well, that's because it's befuddling.
I haven't seen them be ranked top 10 in anything unless it was a crappy list in years. So yay process.
Hey, they're trusting it.
So let's go ahead and talk about the upcoming week. So we have
Our shorty week.
a shorty week. So we have the Bucks playing on Thursday. And on Saturday we have the Pelicans. So how do we fall in these games?
I would like to see a revenge win against the Bucks. That last
God,
one
yes.
was too close, and we probably should have stolen that game. Mind you, they looked better than us start to finish.
Yeah, in the end there were some questionable calls.
Yeah, and there was realistically, I mean, it looked like we could have probably taken it had a couple of those calls gone our way. I mean, we did not look like the better team that night, just period. The Bucks looked better than we did. But we looked like the team that could have stolen that one. I think we can win a game against them pretty handily. The other game, meh. I mean, I guess the Pelicans with both of their big men.
I was going to say, are we going to see a full game of Davis, or do we
Yeah.
break Davis again?
But now that said,
Remember last time Boogie had more points combined than CJ and Lillard both without Davis. So
what is the Pelicans' record looking like this so far?
abysmal.
And that's my theory would be that we were doing better before the injury. when
They
it
are
was just
sitting
Boogie.
at 7th in the West at 11-9.
That's not abysmal.
Yeah, I thought
There's
it was
a couple
different.
behind us.
Actually, I'm thinking. Oh,
You were thinking of the Kings,
I'm
weren't
thinking
you?
of the Kings. Yeah,
I still
think of the Kings. So.
I still occasionally do that. No, the Kings, theirs is abysmal at 6-14.
I feel like with the Pelicans, those two guys, I'm shocked at the level of chemistry they do have, even though it's not great. Because I feel like those two guys should hate each other. But I feel like that about a lot of teams.
So, I think these next two games are actually going to be challenging. Especially if all players healthy.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a challenge. And if we win this game, if we win these two games this week, and we end the week with what, 15-8, where are we at power rankings predictions?
I don't think anybody's going to give us any sort of love past 5. That's
No way past 5. No
I
way.
was going to
No
say,
way.
because if you look at everybody, you got Houston, Cleveland, Golden State, the Spurs. There you go.
If we win both games, I predict that we jump to 7.
Yeah, we maybe move
Jump
up
to 7.
one.
That's one spot up.
That's a step.
That's not a jump. That's a baby step.
That's a jump. When you're talking about the top 10 teams,
Then we already
Yeah.
jumped.
yeah.
Then we already jumped. We
But we're
jumped
gonna
last week.
Jump to 7. Who do you surpass?
We
winning
stepped
2
to
games
7.
this week? Who do you pass?
I will find this.
You don't pass anybody. You don't pass Boston. You don't pass Cleveland. You don't pass, even though, I don't know.
So do we have a beer bet for this week? Have we settled on that?
Here I am, like talking about speculative power rankings. I don't think we talked about beer bets. Green.
Well, I do have a question. Do you think the Blazers are better than the Pistons?
I think the Blazers and Pistons are equally yoked.
Because Pistons right now are 6th. So you're not bumping Boston, Houston, Warriors, Spurs, or Cleveland, and there's
Unless
your top
one
5.
of them gets blown out.
Yeah, so
horribly
the
multiple
closest
Pistons
times.
just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers last night, so you have
It's
that
so
as
weird
well.
to me.
Very
So weird. I mean, it's bound to happen sometimes.
I got a
Nobody
beer bet.
wins everything. All right.
Okay.
Oh, don't make it another power rankings one.
Well, it's gonna be one of either or. So we can go because since this week is basically
There's 3 of us. We can't do a either or choice.
No. I'm saying there's two games going on, and they're both revenge games. Kind of. We've got the Milwaukee, which is a true revenge game, and we also have the New Orleans game, which is given that Davis might play the whole game, do we want to do a bet against the who is the stronger point combination, Boogie the Brow or Lillard Dame.
You wanna revisit that one?
I mean,
rematch?
It's a rematch, and if he's healthy, it could be fun, especially since it's at home and we're on a good streak. It might be interesting. So do we want to talk about duo?
Oh, actually, this could be a fun one. What about we're on a 3-game winning streak? We could choose how many games does our current winning streak end at?
Ooh.
So we could go 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go as high as you want.
Well, seeing as that there's only 2 games
But
until we
there's
do
2
the next
games.
show, if we all pick 5,
Who lost last one?
I
let's
lost
see.
last one.
Yeah, Ryan lost the last one.
I'm in the center. All right, I like this. Easy. Okay.
So theoretically, I mean, we could do that, and I'd get stuck with whichever number 3, 4, or 5 is left.
No,
No, I won, so I go last.
I lost.
Oh, so you go first.
So you get the second pick.
I mean, we could very well have a sweeping week and go
'Cause,
into
I
it.
mean-
Because honestly, you could really only pick 3, 4, or 5 because this is
For the week.
For the week.
Yeah.
So
So 5 is still going.
Yeah.
And then
So
I just get whatever's left out of the 3.
I'll take 5.
okay.
And
I'll take 4.
And if I could have
And I'm stuck with 3.
if I could have picked ongoing, I would
I
have.
can't believe you picked 5.
If I would have picked ongoing, I would have picked 6 because that puts us at the Washington or right before the Houston game.
Whitledge, I honestly as much as I hope that that's the case. I honestly think you're going to owe green beer this week, and I'm pretty much playing the safe card.
Yeah.
But you know what though? How I don't want to
I hate being in this spot where I have to hope to lose. So I'm now actually hoping not to buy Brandon beer, but to buy Ryan beer.
No, but think about it though. We're playing Milwaukee, and they play tough against us. So I mean, honestly, if I was Whitledge, I'd be scared because again, you're playing against.
I'm
Milwaukee
not scared.
First. If we beat Milwaukee, we have to play against Boogie the Brow, and I have a chance of winning beer. And then who splits the beer? Is it a split cost or what?
You know what? I have faith in Patty Mills. If Patty Mills exits the starting lineup, I want to revisit this and take a new number.
Is it logged away?
I'll log it.
It's been logged. So to recap, we're going to be having a
Recap,
beer
apparently,
bet.
I'm an idiot.
The beer bet here is
So really, it's when is the next time we lose?
Yeah.
If we lose against the Bucks, unfortunately, that means I win. If we lose against the Pelicans, Brandon wins. If we don't lose either of those games, Ryan wins.
so I can't really lose this week, which is great. But you know what though? I'm hoping that we exceed, and I really hope that Greeno's Whitledge beer, because I really want to see us go 5, 6, 7 games on a winning streak. That's just my hopeful Blazer fandom.
We're getting 5. Then we're
And
on
you
our
know
new
what though?
week.
Unlike all the other guys, Rob, Bjornsson, and Deckard, my fandom hasn't gone down doing the show. Coming here, talking about it each week, and really just digging into it. I feel like it's really reinforced my fandom.
Hey man, to
I'll
be
give you
the
that.
man, you gotta beat the man.
You gotta beat the motherfucking man, brah.
I will agree with you on that, mostly because the years prior it would have been okay, so I talked about being down at the Ducks Civil War game. Had I missed that game, I would have just looked at the score, read whoever did the recap on Blazers Edge, called it good, been oh man, really should have watched that. I wouldn't have devoted 2 hours of my day yesterday to making sure that I go back and watch a game. So at the moment, my fandom has been increased and not decreased or impacted negatively or whatever by having to talk to you two assholes once a week.
Well, if anything, I just try to hold myself in a little bit so that way I'm the one of us who's down to earth with reasonable predictions about our team, looking at honesty, not looking at the world with our rose-colored glasses while I scream, please make the fucking shot.
Hey, I'm the guy here who thinks we're going to win 51 games and make the finals. So, I mean, you know what? I still hold true to that. I want to exceed Blazer prediction in Vegas. So, with that said, we've captured your attention plenty, I feel like, at this point.
And stay tuned for our next cinematic genius moment, which
Oh, yeah.
will be surprisingly dropped sometime soon.
So this week, expect
This
a
week,
Blazer.
he's putting a time
It's
limit
going
on
to
it.
happen. BlazerTag trailer is happening this week. Stay tuned for that.
On YouTube.
Of course, on YouTube.
If
It'll
you're
be-
on the podcast on audio, which
Yeah,
is most of you, I mean, you can go look at our trailer on YouTube.
Go to
later this week.
YouTube or on Facebook. If you follow us on Facebook, or if you follow any of us on Facebook, I guarantee we're all going to share it.
Only because he'll send us 4 texts that say, "Why haven't you shared that yet, asshole?"
It's going to be epic, fun.
Yeah, that's my life.
And yeah, stay tuned for that. With that said, gentlemen,
Signing off.
Blazers.
Go Blazers.
Go Blazers.